This conference will now be recorded.
Who's MO up there? Can you read that? Oh, okay.
Perfect. I think I got 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting in order. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do not have any amendments, but I just need approval of adoption of the agenda. Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Review the minutes from our regular meeting of February 15th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. From the last meeting.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Look over the North Zumbro Sanitary District minute from February 7th. Okay, we don't need a motion on that, right? I didn't think so. Everybody kind of looked at the minutes. Let's jump to accounts payable. Joan?
Okay, I just had two that were a little big. It's a very small accounts payable this month. The one was 80019 WHKS for 570517. And then Excel, that's under number 800822, and that was 8,542 cents. And I would, if anybody's any questions? Otherwise, I would recommend that we approve the accounts payable in the amount of $29,550.
Any further discussions on accounts payable? Oh, sure, that's one.
Yeah, it was just tiny.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Joan. We'll open the public comments portion. Individuals may address the city council about any items of concern. Speakers must state their name and limit the remarks to 5 minutes. Public comments? Yes, no, that's not you. You're coming up here at 9-1. Okay. I will close the public comment portion and we will jump down to 9A, Three Rivers Older Adults Program Expansion. David, that's you.
Hello, thanks for taking the time to listen to me today. My name is David Gajal. I'm the new volunteer coordinator for Three Rivers Community Action. I was hired to help expand our older adult services to include a new program that we're starting here in Zumbrota for chore and homemaker services. So we have found that in the community of Zumbrota particularly, there is a need for folks to go to some of our participants' homes and assist them with things like yard work, housework, to help them remain independent in their own homes. We at Three Rivers cover a lot of things. We also run the local Meals on Wheels program, which we have expanded to a second route. So we're sending out a lot of meals into the community. We're hoping that we can generate some interest into becoming volunteers. We currently already have a few folks that are looking for assistance in the community. You know, we have one woman that's hoping to have someone come by and install some grab bars in her shower, some folks looking for early spring yard work. I'm looking to just get the word out there. If you're interested in volunteering or reading more about our program, we do have a new volunteer database. It's Three Rivers CAP, that's Three Rivers CAP.galaxydigital.com. Oh, okay. Okay, where you can go online, you can sign up to volunteer, and you can view opportunities right now in the community of Zumbrota. So we're really hoping that this program is going to lead to keeping folks out of nursing homes, helping them keep in their homes for longer, and thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Any questions for Dave?
I have a question, Dave. You said like so is that something where like, say I said, oh, I think I could do something, I can do that online?
Yeah.
And say I can help with this particular task?
Yep, so what our new database is about is, so it allows folks to go onto this website and they can view opportunities to volunteer in the community of Zumbrota, specifically to start off with older adult programs. You can sign up to volunteer there where you will give us your contact information, your volunteering availability, the kinds of programs or tasks that you're interested in doing. And then we will go through a public background check just to make sure that we're keeping in mind the safety of the older adult participants. And then once that background check clears, you can sign up for those programs and we'll send you information for the older adult once you've confirmed that you're willing to help out with the task. We're not keeping participant information right there on the internet. We're keeping that secure.
Oh, okay, so it's right here.
Anything else?
One more question.
Yeah.
Does this, okay, so like the website here or where we could go to sign up for those volunteer opportunities,
Yeah.
are we getting that out so the community knows? Is it in the paper or how are we doing it?
Yeah, so we're looking at a lot of different advertising options. I don't know if you've seen some of the flyers around for our Meals on Wheels program. We're going to be expanding more flyers like that. We're going to be looking at hopefully getting the information out into the paper, the News Record, as well as the local Mazeppa paper as well. Right now, we're starting in Zumbrota. So as we expand more and more services, hopefully the word will spread, word of mouth as well. It's a new program, so we first want to make sure that for the few older adults that need help, that we're getting that done, and then hopefully that can speak for itself.
One more? No, we're good. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for that. 9B, North Zumbrota Sanitary District Facility Plan, public hearing, Mr. Angerman.
Thank you, Mayor. We are asking that the council tonight set a public hearing date for April 4th at your regularly scheduled meeting. One of our first deadlines that we had, our first major deadline, is to prepare what are called facilities plans, one for each community. So one for Wanamingo, Pine Island, Goodhue, and then one for Zumbrota. And the Zumbrota one covers the construction of the wastewater treatment plant. What that hearing requirement is then that we have to go over the treatment alternatives, we have to go over the location of the plant, we have to go over the cost of the project, et cetera. We have to then document any questions, responses, and send those to the state. So that is a condition of all wastewater treatment plants in the state. So really, that's really all we're asking for tonight, is to set that hearing. And then on April 4th, we will have a presentation to whoever would show up, and then questions and answers.
Perfect. We just need a motion for a public hearing on April 4th at 6:05.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thanks, Bill. 9C, Resolution 2024-07, approving the North Zumbro Sanitary District Land Purchase Agreement. Bill.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, our second major task was to find a location for the proposed wastewater plant. As you recall, the state of Minnesota last year in their bonding bill granted $10 million to the North Zumbro Sanitary Sewer District. A portion of that $10 million was to fund the engineering. It was also to fund legal, other expenses, but it was also to fund the purchase of a site. So the budget that was submitted to the state of Minnesota was that we would dedicate $1 million to find, locate, and purchase a site. So as a condition of that, all 4 communities have to approve a purchase agreement. So what our criteria was, is we were looking for a site near the city of Zumbrota, near the existing plant, as close as we could get, because we have the river and you have homes, et cetera. So we did find a spot, I guess you call it adjacent if you go across the river, southeast of the existing plant owned by Jim and Connie Wendt. So Jim and Connie Wendt are agreeable to sell approximately 43.5 acres to the sanitary sewer district. That 43.5 acres would be large enough to house the facility. It would be large enough to house an expansion and have enough buffer, space between, future development. The Wentz did, as part of the negotiations, ask the district to help them lay out what, the rest of their land could be used for. It's not actually a part of this, but to make sure that this would fit in, as the city eventually will expand, around this facility. So this, the agreement that's in your packet documents that, it also has a drawing of where it's at. So that's referenced in pink there. So in essence, there would be a road that would extend, or a new road off of the county road just to the east of the Wentz current house. And then the 4 cities would each have pipes that would pump to this new plant. So Zumbrota's would be the shortest. It would just be right across the river. Goodhue would follow the highway, come through the Zumbrota plant, or potentially through the Zumbrota plant, follow the Zumbrota pipe right to the site. Pine Islands would come up the county road. I don't remember the number of it, but it would come up to County Road 10 and then come down County Road 10 in. And then Wanamingos would follow Highway 60 and would go pretty much right through downtown here, through either 4th or 5th Street, out to County Road 10 to the new site. So what we're asking tonight is for the council to approve this. All 3 other cities are also being asked the same item. Note, though, that there are additional steps required by the state after this. So that is, we have to do due diligence. Due diligence means soil borings, wetland delineation, historic and archaeological surveys. We have to do what's called an environmental assessment worksheet. Well, that's environmental assessment for the site and really the whole plant. So these things will all occur after this over the next 6 to 18 months. But this is the first step. This is a really big step, because if we did not have land, we wouldn't be moving forward with the project. So I think this is great as far as timing goes. I mean, we were worried that we might be spending a long time, but we were able to come to an agreement with the Wentz fairly early on. So.
Bill, could you just mention one more about that site and the flood aspect of it?
Oh, one of the other criteria, one of the reasons why we're doing this project is 2 of the 4 facilities, Wanamingo and Pine Island, are currently in the floodplain and get flooded out. Zumbrota's is right next to the river. Goodhue is kind of high and dry. But one of our criteria is we want to make sure we pick a site that we are not in the floodplain. So if you guys know that property, we are high and dry. We are well above the river. We are well out of the way of flooding. So we think that's a big plus for this facility, that we will eliminate that fear for decades to come.
Any questions for Bill on the purchase agreement? I know they've been working on it for a few weeks.
Months, weeks, yeah.
Seems like a lot of money, but I suppose that's what it's going for.
Correct, yep.
And we're still under budget from what we expected too, so.
Yeah, so it's actually the amount that pretty close to almost exactly what we budgeted. So by the way, the Wentz didn't know, we didn't tell it, but that's it. We looked at what land values were before we submitted the information to the state last year, and this is what we figured we were going to have to pay.
Perfect. Any more questions for Bill?
I just got one question. What happens if we don't get the rest of the funding in this next legislation and we purchase this property, but we purchase it with the district? What happens to it then? And I hope that never happens. It's just one of those things that it's in Zumbrota, but it's with how many other communities?
Yeah, hypothetically, the district would still own it. If it would dissolve, I think it reverts back to the state of Minnesota. Because it's
Who would do what?
revert back to the state of Minnesota because they have provided the funding for it.
Okay. And then, okay.
Or we try next year,
Yeah.
try to get the money, or
Yeah.
they just give us half of what we're asking this year. We can't start until we get the other half. So there's one of those things that.
Right, so only a portion, of this project's been funded. That's why Brian is not here tonight. He's up at the Capitol, or was at the Capitol. So if the state would not fund it, then we would go back next year, but there would be a point where you pull the plug, so to speak, but.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Any more questions? Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the,
Resolution 2024-07.
I'll second.
Any further discussions? We'll do roll call. Sarah?
Aye.
Bob? Aye. Joan?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
And I pass it 5-0-0. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Mayor.
On the info. Let's jump down to 9D, manhole leveling. Mike?
Yeah, so we've done this project in the past, and I got a little presentation later on here with some pictures, but essentially what we do is they come in and they cut a circle around the castings, they lower the castings, and then they put the cement in, a cement collar in around them. And this just helps, well, you'll see in the pictures, we got castings are sticking up so high, and the rust up falls pretty good, but this is we kind of try to pick and choose which ones we're going after, just so we look at the streets and which ones we're gonna mill and overlay next. So
Do we know how many we're doing?
we'll do the
Just six?
six of them.
Okay. And I assume you already know which 6 we're going to do.
Yep.
Just need a motion to approve the manhole leveling of 2,000 each, doing 6 structures.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Mike. Let's jump down to 9E, chip sealing. Mike?
So I got a chip sealing project, again, we'll be covering the streets that, well, we got some of the newer subdivisions and some that we milled and overlaid within the last 3, 4, or 5 years. The prices were quite a variance in the prices. They went from $337, I believe, was it, to $229? I didn't have it in front of me. So Pearson Brothers, and we've had both Pearson and Farner work in town before, and they both do a really good job.
I assume you already have what they're doing.
Yep, we got that all laid out.
You need a motion to approve Pearson at 220 square foot.
Correct.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Mike. Let's do it one more time. 9F, crack sealing. Mike?
Yep, and the crack sealing will be Farner this year. We had him, they were bidding against Durst Outdoor Services out of Rochester, but they came in at a better price, and we're using up some of our crack sealant, which will help that, which kind of helps that price out that we have set for that too.
I'll make a motion to approve Farner as our crack sealing contract. I'll second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Mike. Are we doing the presentation?
Yeah, I got just a little, is that all the bigger that goes, Jim?
It is.
Just a little bit of information on crack sealing and chip sealing, as long as we had it there, just so there's a little bit of understanding what goes into it. And I won't go through all of it, just a couple highlights on the first page here. Cracks that come in all shapes and sizes. No pavement is immune to cracking. If left untreated, those cracks are only the start of a more significant problem, from potholes all the way to your base failures on that. Crack sealing is the process of placing an adhesive sealant into cracks on the pavement surface, preventing the infiltration of moisture and non-compressible materials into pavement. It is cost-effective pavement preservation treatment that can slow pavement's deterioration and extend pavement life by 3 to 5 years. When to perform crack sealing. Crack sealing should be performed before pavement becomes too distressed. Pavement experiencing alligator cracking may not be a candidate for crack sealing, as the alligator cracks indicate failures requiring repair beyond crack sealing as originally. And then potholes and cracks wider than 1.5 inches also should not be crack sealed. Crack sealing can be combined with other preservation treatments, including chip seal. The different types of benefits and limitations of crack sealing and the different types of cracking is the fatigue cracking due to the interconnecting cracks which resemble an alligator skin. Block cracking, that's usually a series of big blocks in the cracks. Edge cracks, longitudinal cracks along the edge of the streets, and those cracks are from lack of support of the pavement edge. And reflection cracks, those form over joints or cracks in an overlay of deteriorated asphalt pavements. Benefits of applying chip seal to your pavement. Chip seal are cost-effective way to extend the life of asphalt in your pavement. Chip seals create a sealant layer on top of your asphalt, which protects it from elements. The sealant protects against water penetration, weed growth, cracking, UV rays, and overall wear and tear. By applying chip seals, you can expect to see benefits of increased skid resistance, less resurfacing required, prevention of water penetration, and then it's cheaper than overlays. Just for an example, when we did Lancaster up by Todd's, that was in 2020, it was $135,000 to mill and overlay that. Chip sealing in today's dollars, and at the time I only had Farner's numbers, but that was at $337 a square yard. It was a cost of $11,000 to chip seal it, and we can chip seal. What I've seen in these streets now, we could probably chip seal 5-6 times yet and still hold that street together pretty good. Limitations of chip seal. While the pavement preservation techniques are great for certain pavements, it's important to note where chip seals are not recommended. Chip seals are not intended to add any structural life to asphalt pavement. Chip seals are also not designated to smooth out rough pavement. And the difference between a chip seal and an asphalt overlay is the hot mix asphalt pavement produced by heating liquid asphalt, mixing it with aggregate, with the mix then spread and compacted to form durable road structure and riding surfaces. Chip sealing uses the same ingredients as asphalt, concrete, paving, but the construction method is different. With chip seals, a thin film of heated asphalt liquid is sprayed on the road, and then the chips are placed on it over top of that. How chips are placed, the road surface needs to be cleaned, debris, asphalt distributor truck sprays the hot liquid asphalt, and then a spreader follows rapidly as possible with rock application. The asphalt must be fluid, so the rock will be embedded by the displacement of the asphalt, and then they roll it in. And then there's got a few pictures. Larry wanted to go over a few things too.
Yeah, they're all more like a school. There's a lot of things. I went to some schools on chip sealing and blacktopping years ago. And just to bring everybody up to speed, the first page shows you what, this is my drawing, so this isn't nothing fancy, I'm just telling you. Of a side cut of a street, how there's a crown to the street where the manhole is in the middle there. It crowns, and what the design is to keep all your water into the gutter. Everything when it rains, it goes to the gutter. If you look at, when you go down gravel roads and follow a grader, they do the same thing. They put a crown in the road, get the water off. The worst thing we can have on our streets is water. I mean, I don't know if everybody knew this, but like after 3 years, a brand new blacktop driveway, after 3 years, when it starts turning from black to a lighter gray, it becomes porous. So when it rains, the water will go through there. Now, page 2, flip the thing over. This is what happens if you don't take care of your streets, do your chip sealing. You lose your crown because the water goes through your street, through the blacktop, and we got that, maybe roughly that much crushed rock underneath there when they build the street. And that gets wet because the water went through there. Once that gets wet, now your garbage truck drives over there and it becomes spongy. It flattens the dang, takes the road and it flattens right out. Once it flattens out, the water doesn't get to the gutters like it should. I've seen a town up by Todd's place where the water ran down the center of the road. And out by the other side of town, up to like Dion's and McDonald's, same thing. The roads, we lost the crown. West Avenue, we lost the crown. Nothing you can do about that anymore. It comes to a mill and overlay when it goes that far. And just to give you guys a little history, because I know you weren't here back in the 90s. In the 90s, I had left here in 1990, right after that. And about 92, they quit chip sealing. And I know that because Fred Everhart called me and he said, Larry, they're not going to chip seal anymore. I said, they can't stop that. It's no different than shingles on your house. If the house starts leaking a little bit, you realize you got to put shingles on, get them back up there so that you don't get water damage inside your house. Well, they stopped at 90 and nothing for years. They saved the money, yeah, by not chip sealing, but we destroyed our roads. So now what Mike and I are doing, and Mike spearheads the whole thing, is picking out the streets that we can save yet, that still have a crown, and we can chip seal and we can maintain them. I don't know what the life expectancy of year after year. You're supposed to do it at the second or third year, get your first chip seal on it. And Jefferson will be coming up in the future year to that 2.1 miles. But you have to we have to pick these roads out that we chip seal, and like I said, some we can. That what you see in that second page where you see where the manhole sticks up now, that's cost us a lot of money. Because our plows, the new plow we bought here like 3-4 years ago, we actually not only broke the cutting edges, but we bent the blade a little bit. We still use it, but now we went to a different type of blade and it works out good. A rubber with carbide in it, and that works way better anyway. But just trying to emphasize the importance. And when Mike came back on, when he started working for the city again, then the chip sealing got back online, and we're chip sealing every month, every year. We should do more than we should do. It's only good for 7 years, roughly 7 years, and you have to re-chip seal again, and you have to re-chip seal again. Just like shingles on a house, you have to put new shingles on when they wear out. I'm just trying to back Mike's, what he says on all this stuff here, and when you got problems like that, that has to be taken out, you gotta cut out, you can't do nothing with that. There's more pictures you got of this type of stuff. There's a manhole, it protrudes, when it protrudes, an eighth of an inch, my paw will hit it, and it'll bust your paw. There's some more where deterioration has had gone, now the water ain't getting to the gutters no more. And I know you got a bunch of them up in Woodlands, there's full of them, and we've done a lot of them. And we had it when I first started here, we were taking the manholes, we're cutting them out, and we're lowering them so that we weren't hitting them anymore. But that is the wrong thing to do too, because when you do a mill and overlay, now you gotta bring all the manholes back up and get your crown back in there again.
So this here is that,
That's that concrete patch that we do now.
but that leveling, but the same thing. So they're actually lowering the casting. But so when that time comes for mill and overlays, then we'll have to adjust them all.
The dollar value of chip sealing is so high compared to tearing our streets back up and redoing the fresh off and getting the column back to it and putting the blacktop on. We get so much more life out of it, take care of the proper way,
But
a lot less expense.
And we had another project here with the gate valves, they're the same way, and they actually come in and they have a machine that'll grind out the inside of them and cut them out so you can lower them, just to get them below. Some of the castings and some of these gate valve boxes, they're actually, you hit them hard enough and they're cracking and breaking them. This is a mill and overlay we did. That one's up at Woodlands, I think, up in Woodlands. And that's getting your casting back set in the pavement like you're supposed to have it again. And then that's looking up at Trailstead's. But we're into some of those newer subdivisions already. That's kind of the bad part because we got a lot of streets to go through. And then just to get your water over top of so it's running to the curb in your catch basins, again, like Larry mentioned. That's all I have for you.
And I don't have a lot for you, it's pretty darn serious what it is. And when they put that years back, all we did is, we saved the money, and chip sealing, when we damaged the roads. And now, it doesn't pay to chip seal it no more, now it's gonna get to where he's gonna have to schedule a mill and overlay or whatever, or reconstruct, because it's gotten so bad. When it gets wet underneath, it gets wet underneath the gutters. When it does that, you see down some of your streets, you'll see there's a wave to your gutters, and it's all over town. It's pretty darn important. There's one other thing that, besides this, it's gonna cost more as years go by. It's gonna cost more because when we do Jefferson, we gotta keep up on the streets that we should have been done for the year we're doing Jefferson. Every time we put more blacktop roads in a given state, we have to do more seal coating. It's just part of the business. In the future here, and Charlie, I was wondering if we could get the council and mayor to have like a work session where we can get together and drive around and look at a couple projects, a couple things I want to emphasize to you in the future, the expenses that we're gonna have as a city. And that's up to you if you want or don't want. But I'm glad to work with me and Mike and we'll get two vehicles together and take us around and stop and maybe take an hour and stop and look at this and explain to you what's going on here. And it's good for everybody to learn. Because the thing I thought about, the thing that I know enough about parking. And I know a lot about space and sewer and underground and everything. That's all I've done my whole life. That's why I do these papers to you so I can explain to you what this stuff does. So to be willing to do that, to be willing to set something together and think.
I mean, find something here, once the daylight stays out a little bit later, maybe we can do it.
And Because it'll be later now, so yeah, that'll be fine too after.
We'll get into May, first part of June.
Yep.
Something.
Be fine. Be fine.
Sounds good. Thanks very much, and Larry. Any questions, council, for Mike, Larry, on the streets? And I've been here long enough, and I think most people, Larry drove me around and showed what Mike has too. I kind of know where the streets are and at. It's just obviously a money thing. Where we had money, got money to get it done.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Larry.
This one's the report. We'll get to Kevin. Matt? James? Tyler? Perfect. Kim? Anything else, Ed?
I do. Mayor, we talked a little bit before the meeting. I did put the trifold on there on your desk. Mill and Sixth Street reconstruction project. So originally, the thought process was, frost is out of the ground. Usually this is a project that will start mid-May. You are aware, we are way ahead of schedule. So Schumacher Excavating is actually asked to start construction, actually start removing trees next week and start construction March 18th. So really months ahead of time. So we think it's in the best interest of the city. It gets done early. Also gives us a little buffer if we get rainy, May, June, July. The original schedule was they could start really anytime in the spring after the frost on the ground. But their first completion date fill is basically September 1st. We want them, we needed to be before school started again. Let's give them more time to do that. Then they will start on the 6th as well. So want to just make sure first, we're a little bit ahead. So first public announcement or construction update of one of the websites. Actually, Miranda may have it there this afternoon, if not tomorrow. But I just want to read this for everybody, just so we'll get the information out. So I'll just read it off that post or that update. So trees have been marked for removal on the project. So tree removal will start Monday, the 11th. Second then is Mill and Sixth will be closed to through traffic and on-street parking. That'll start on Monday, the 18th. Cars will still be able to get through, but it'll basically be closed for through traffic. What will happen first is the road will be reclaimed. So when we say reclaimed, that really means turned into gravel. So really we'll grind up all the pavement on Mill, all the pavement on Sixth will be ground up, then it'll be bladed back out so you can drive back on it. And then Schumacher's will begin the underground construction at the corner of 6th and Mill, and they'll work towards Jefferson. Okay, underground meaning they'll work on the sanitary sewer and the water main and storm sewer, the pipes under the ground. Then just some general notes here. Traffic control barricades, signs, other cones will be placed to close off active construction areas. Your traffic pattern may need to change based on the construction. So again, this is what we're going to put out to the rest of the community. For your safety and the safety of the construction personnel, please follow the signage. So we always want to emphasize that because people every year think when it says road closed ahead, they think that doesn't apply to them. So they drive around the signs and through construction. It inevitably happens every year. Somebody will then drive into an area they shouldn't. They'll drive into wet concrete. They'll drive into a hole. It happens more than you'd think. And then lastly, we've worked real closely with the school as far as how does the school traffic get in and out. So school traffic should come off 5th Street and enter the parking lot from the north if possible. School traffic to the west side of the school will need to enter and exit Mill Street from the north side. So again, the school then, we meet with them and they'll make sure that their teachers, the buses are really unimpacted. That's why we delayed this project. We wanted to make sure the school project was done first. So all the buses are now come on the east side. They do not come on Mill anymore. So that's it. And then otherwise weekly updates with maps and diagrams will be going on the website. So.
I assume you've already talked to the school and know where we're jumping in and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yep.
Anything else?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mike. I have nothing, Sarah.
I had a conversation with a gentleman last week. He had a couple of concerns. One was on County 6 with the sidewalks. He felt it was very important to have those available all winter long and have those cleared. The other question he brought up was, which I talked to Larry and Mike about, was some of the straw and debris that's in the gutters along the 6th from the hay sales. Sounds like that's being taken care of. The other question he had was wondering about some noise ordinances and things with J breaks and things coming down the hill there on 6 coming to Main Street. Was just looking for some information on that.
So there is signs on 6 and 58 both for that, so that's gonna go back to an enforcement. Yeah.
So Tyler, what is there a fine or a ticket for if you catch anybody J breaking like on 6?
There is, I'd have to double check on the specifics of it all, but I do believe the city also has their own ordinance on that. And if that is the case, then that is enforceable, typically in the form of a city citation or under that same ordinance, but as a state citation. The kind of the biggest thing is actually catching people doing it.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, Bob. Anything else? Joan? Kevin?
Update on the ambulance, just the per capita is going to be going up another $2.50, which was expected, just these slow increases to offset as one of the reasons being that the statewide estimation is about 40 to 60% of patients transported and things are Medicare and Medicaid, and we get, the Zumbrota area ambulance gets back 17 to 25% of the bill out money. So if you build out $100, you only get 17 to 24 back on that. So it's largely, and Zumbrota area is actually much higher. We're 70 to 75% of our patients are covered by that. So as equipment costs keep going up, for reference, the last truck that was purchased was $230,000. The current price of the new truck that will be purchased is $296,000. And the per capita largely covers that issue. So just aware for Zumbrota that $2.50 will be the next one next year.
2025.
Yeah, and we are, yeah. So it's already going, it already went up for 2025 and it's going to go up for 2026 as well, so.
And we do that right, Kim? I think that.
So other than that, that is all.
Sounds good. Thanks, Kevin. Meeting's adjourned. Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify, when you were asking about the website.